We're going to stay on the subject of water at 5:28. We sent reporters to the Waikato, Canterbury and Lower Hutt today to ask people in areas either identified by the Minister or actually by poor water standards over the past few days when they last swam in a river. Here's our reporter Zach Fleming.
Around halfway between Auckland and Hamilton, you'll find the Merino River. And at the very end of it, you'll find Shane. He lives less than 100 metres from its banks and has farmed here for 22 years. Shane says he used to use the river, but now it's too dirty.
Last 22 years I do feel it has deteriorated.
What did it used to be like compared to now?
I started with no water. I used to have to bucket out of the river. I've had to bucket the odd time when a pump has broken down. And I found that when I stepped in that water, the bugs itched my ankles, and I ended up scratching myself raw.
He says his animals now refuse water from the river.
I had a pump breakdown, and my animals, especially horses are very fussy. They didn't touch the water. I would have to look for another suitable option. We used to hear the bullfrogs quite prominent every year. They have got quieter and quieter over the years. My granddad used to say it's a good judge of nature. I'm not sure, but we don't hear them as much.
Do you reckon the river should be cleaner?
Yeah, I would like it cleaner, and then I might go for a swim, or my animals might drink it.
The Merino River regularly has E. coli readings that are higher than what's considered safe. The water here is brown, but despite that, there are no signs at the water's edge advising people they probably shouldn't swim in it. 20 minutes down the road, we came across a local fisherman who's been living in the area for nearly 20 years. He didn't want to appear on camera, but said he used to jet ski and play water sports on the river without concern. But now he wouldn't. Further south at the bottom of the North Island, it's a similar story. Here's what Environment Minister Nick Smith has to say about the Hutt River.
If you take the Hutt River, over half the time it's less than 100 E. coli. Over half the time the chance is less than 1 in 1,000. There's only a chance of 1 in 20 for the 15% of the time. So the question is, how is it fair to describe the Hutt River? The government describes it as the lowest category of swimmable. That is at a fair level.
But here's what locals think.
No, I probably wouldn't. It's just I'm not sure what the quality is like.
No, at the moment it's lovely. It's been had a good flush out with the floods lately. I'll swim there tomorrow.
I don't think it's clear and clean, but what can you do?
I know there have been algae problems in the past and animals have died, but hopefully things will clean up a little bit so it is safer for not only animals but people to swim in as well.
And further south still, in Christchurch, we asked people when they last swam in a river.
And I live in Selwyn, and Selwyn's been hit really hard with its rivers and waterways. Dairying's had a massive impact, so coast forward is unusable now. Typically, no, I'd avoid it. This isn't a new issue. We've been facing this for over a decade now. There's been awareness and conversation within the public space about this, so we've had a long time to do something about it. And then by coming up with the new standards for quality that they're talking about, which even then it's not talking about having clean waterways, they're just sort of coming up with some sort of middle ground. I don't think it's enough.
I know that in general things are deteriorating. My mother actually lives right next to a river and they can't go swimming in it anymore.
Christchurch resident Katrina Peters says she'd like to see government officials visit some of the rivers before giving them a pass mark as being acceptable for swimming.
To say that they're okay to swim in or they're safe, and look at the wee children. Are you going to put small children in those areas because it's safe? It's quite dangerous. It could be dangerous.
So you think a 1 in 20 chance of people getting sick is unacceptable?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're supposed to be going in fresh water, yes. I wouldn't like to see anybody sick, as a result of swimming in fresh water.
You can give your opinion on the new water quality measures for the next 2 months. Consultation is open until April the 28th. For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.